For more on Netflix, let's bring in Ben Silverman, chairman and co-CEO of Propagate Entertainment and a former NBC Entertainment co-chairman. Ben, it's great to have you on, and I want to start right there. We've got price hikes, and we always talk about the fact that content is king, but with live sports programming and more added to the slate now, and an absolute trouncing in terms of Q4 net ads, 10 million more than the street was expecting. Content king?
Well, clearly, it's a driver of Netflix's business, but I think what they're able to do with the levers of the scale they have is incredible. The fact that they can keep adding price to it is an amazing, incremental. It feels like every 6 months the price is hiked on Netflix. My own family, his contribution continues to rise. And I think the live events are massive drivers for the advertising business. They always have been, in sports particularly. And I think they're going to really help underpin this expansion in the advertising space and the scale they have. And I think also one thing that should be noted, as people are worried about fact-checking on Meta or whether TikTok exists because it's a tool of the Chinese government, one thing you can say about Netflix is you're contextualized as an advertiser with premium, high-end content. And you're also contextualized with narrative, episodic content that provides real emotional connectivity that is so unique as they scale as a tech player, but also deliver the promise that the broadcasters and cable channels did. So this combination feels really opportunistic for advertisers who want to be in safer environments, but also want reach.
All right, you bring up such a good point, and the nuance around all of this, and it's not just TikTok either. It's also YouTube and the fact that it's been eating everybody's lunch in terms of viewership hours as well for years now. I do want to dig a little deeper into this ad business because the company did say that they're planning to offer advertisers a first-party ad platform here in the U.S. in April. What does that do to the ad market, and what does that do in terms of the ad tier for Netflix and how it positions them for 2026 and beyond?
Well, I think it's obviously going to, suck some energy out of the smaller scale traditional broadcasters and cable channels. But I also really do think, to your point about YouTube and others, it's going to be a real alternative that didn't exist. Everything's been judged in terms of minutes or engagement. It hasn't been judged in terms of quality as the digital players have exploded on the scene in their advertising reach. And I think this is going to be a big opportunity for Netflix to kind of differentiate. Not only can you reach all these people at once, but you can do it through brands like the NFL, and you can do it through shows like the Squid Games, and you can do it in ways that are contextualized with certain demographic segments, which I'm sure they're going to expand their reach and how they target since they have that information, and geographic targeting that is so incrementally interesting, because when you think about global advertisers, they've always been limited market by market. And as this expands globally, and you're Nestle, you're a global seller of chocolate. You're a global seller of coffee.
Ben, give us a look at the chessboard here as you see it when it comes to this. Netflix, it seems to me, is hiking prices just as it's halting its quarterly subscriber reporting and as it's releasing more information about viewership of specific shows. It seems like that's a setup, kind of similar to when Apple did something similar about reporting iPhone numbers, where they can afford to do some things that reduce their net subscriber ads in order to strategically build out this ad business. How does that position them versus some competitors in the space that still need to report subscriber numbers to build investor confidence?
Well, I'm not a Wall Street guy. I am a content guy and a creative guy. I just live with all these people as a producer and creator, and I see how they engage with us on that side, and I see what is making them successful as somebody who's been strategic as a former chairman of a network. And I will say, when YouTube started to explode, I said, oh, YouTube wants to be TV. They want to be kind of everything. And then they kind of pulled back a little as they developed out their kind of cable strategy as they distribute cable. And then as Netflix was growing and they started to migrate into different genres, I'm like, oh no, they want to be TV as opposed to wanting to be like HBO used to be. And I think they're succeeding on that. But I do think there's going to be room in these other places for kind of more premium-led content and more specific-led content where you don't need to be everything for everyone, but you can revert back to that HBO. And when I look at kind of Apple television subscription model. I really see that there in the kind of quality of content they're building and that connectivity, and can they grow that audience to match it? I know on the other side, the amount of money I'm paying in services to Apple when I include music, news, television, and and cloud, it actually is quadruple what I'm paying to Netflix. So I think they all have different opportunities, and and on the other side, the real scaled partner, player, competitor is Amazon. And that's the one that I think really just keeps showing momentum, and it's going to be cool to watch them at the NBA, and so this just a reorganization of all these companies, as they're not going anywhere. They're doubling down on content as a driver of their tech platform.